Welcome to our next session on how to manage the Microsoft Power Platform environment. My name is Barbara Andrews, and I'm a lead Microsoft technical trainer here at Microsoft. Let's jump into our content. Coming up, we will describe the Microsoft Dataverse and how Power Platform administration and governance works. Let's start our section on describing the Microsoft Dataverse. Dataverse is a cloud-based, low-code data service and app platform, which allows you to leverage the security and connectivity of Microsoft services. Dataverse connects easily to all aspects of Microsoft Power Platform, so you can fully control, automate, and strengthen your business. With standard tables and columns, as well as the ability to easily define relationships between your data, Dataverse is a powerful, scalable solution. In this section, we will describe the different portals and environments available in the Dataverse, along with tables, columns, rows, and relationships. We will also look at the data import and export options. The Power Platform Admin Center serves as a centralized portal for administrators to manage environments, settings, and resources across Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dynamics 365 apps. It provides a unified interface to oversee the health, security, and performance of Power Platform implementations. Key features include Actions, which offer recommendations to enhance security and reliability, such as optimizing app performance or securing data connections, and Manage, which allows administrators to organize environments and tenant settings across departments. Monitor enables tracking of operational health metrics, helping teams ensure apps and workflows are running efficiently. Security Tools supports safe operations through features like data loss prevention, policies, and role-based access controls, ensuring compliance and protecting sensitive data. Copilot offers educational resources, usage tracking, and governance controls to help organizations adopt AI responsibly. Additional capabilities not listed here include deployment, which streamlines application lifecycle management, or ALM, by allowing admins to manage pipelines, approve deployment requests, and troubleshoot issues at scale. Licensing provides visibility into license consumption and alerts for environments requiring attention. Support gives access to self-help tools and the ability to submit support tickets, including for Power BI, which is administered separately but supported through this portal. On the right, we have personalized admin, the interface here, with tabs for managing environments, monitoring resources, and configuring security. All of it's designed to help organizations maintain control, ensure operational excellence, and scale their Power Platform solutions effectively. The Power Apps Maker portal is a centralized workspace that empowers users to build, manage, and monitor applications and related components within the Microsoft Power Platform ecosystem. It is designed to support both technical and non-technical users by offering a wide range of tools and features that simplify app development and deployment. One of the most powerful aspects of this portal is its ability to manage tables, which are the backbone of Microsoft Dataverse. Users can create and modify tables, define relationships, and customize forms and views, all without writing any code. This is especially useful for business users who need to model data for apps like customer tracking or inventory management. For example, a retail manager could create a table to store product information and link it easily to a sales table to track performance. The portal also provides access to flows, solutions, websites, and agents, enabling users to automate processes, package and deploy complete solutions, build external-facing websites, and create AI-powered chatbots. These tools are essential for streamlining operations and enhancing user engagement. For instance, a customer service team could use Power Automate flows to route support tickets, while a marketing team might deploy a Power Page website to collect customer feedback. Additionally, the portal includes features like monitor for tracking resource health, catalog for accessing templates, card for creating adaptive cards, choices for managing drop-down values, connections for linking to data sources, and data flows for transforming and importing data. Together, these capabilities make Power Apps Maker, the portal, a comprehensive environment for building scalable, data-driven solutions that integrate seamlessly with M365 and beyond. There are additional Power Platform Maker portals. Listed here are 4 key portals: Power Automate, Power BI, Power Pages, and Copilot Studio, each designed to empower users to build solutions that enhance productivity, streamline operations, and improve user experiences. These portals are accessible via dedicated URLs and serve as entry points for makers to create, manage, and deploy solutions across various business solutions and scenarios. Power Automate URLs are listed here. It enables users to build and manage automated workflows that reduce manual tasks and improve efficiency. For example, a finance team could automate invoice approvals by triggering flows that new documents are uploaded. Power BI's URL is listed here. It's our app.powerbi.com. This allows your user to create an interactive dashboard and reports that visualize data from multiple data sources. Power Pages URL is also listed here, make.powerpages.com, which provides a platform for building secure, modern business websites that can be used by both employees and customers. Copilot Studio's URL is also listed here, copilotstudio.microsoft.com. This allows users to design intelligent agents that assist with tasks through conversational interfaces. These agents can be embedded in apps or websites to provide real-time support, such as an HR chatbot that answers employee questions about benefits. Microsoft Dataverse environments are designed to support structured, secure, and scalable application development within your Microsoft Entra ID tenant, formerly Azure Active Directory. Each environment, such as development, which is dev, our testing environment, test, and our production environment, prod, can be provisioned with its own Dataverse database, enabling teams to isolate resources, manage permissions, and control data access independently. This separation is essential for maintaining clean application lifecycle management, or ALM, practices, allowing solutions to be developed, tested, and deployed in a controlled and predictable manner. For example, a Seahorse International company might use a DevOps environment to build and iterate on new features, a test environment to validate those features using representative data, and a prod or production environment to host live applications used by employees or customers. Each environment is created in a specific geographic region, such as the United States, Europe, and more. Most resources within the environment, including Dataverse data, Power Apps, Power Automate flows, and connectors, are bound to that region. This regional binding supports data residency compliance and can improve performance by reducing latency for users in that region. However, some services or connectors may operate across regions depending on their configuration. This model supports strong governance, role-based access control, or RBAC, and data security. Organizations can create multiple environments to align with business units, regions, or compliance requirements. Microsoft Power Platform provides several environment types, each designed to support specific stages of the application lifecycle and meet diverse organizational needs. The production environments are intended for hosting live, business-critical applications. They require at least 1 gig of available Dataverse database capacity and offer full capabilities for managing apps, flows, and data securely. These environments are optimized for stability, reliability, and long-term use by end users. The default environments are automatically created for each Microsoft Entra ID tenant and are accessible to all licensed users. This environment is best suited for personal productivity or exploratory use, rather than for sensitive or regulated workloads. The sandbox environment are used for non-production environments used for development, testing, and training. They allow teams to safely experiment with new features, updates, or integrations without affecting production systems. Trial environments are temporary environments. They expire after 30 days unless converted to production. They are ideal for short-term testing, proof of concept projects, or evaluating new features without long-term commitments. Developer environments are created by users with the Power Apps Developer Plan license and are intended for individual use only, making them suitable for personal experimentation. Microsoft Dataverse for Teams environments are automatically created when apps are built or installed within a Microsoft Teams team. These environments enable users to build and deploy apps directly within Teams, fostering collaboration by embedding solutions that users already work with. They are best suited for lightweight, team-specific solutions. Together, these environment types provide the flexibility, governance, and scalability needed to manage development, testing, and deployment workflows effectively across the Power Platform. Microsoft Power Platform enables enterprise-level governance and control through a suite of premium capabilities. Managing applications at scale can be complex, especially when it comes to controlling access and ensuring data security. Managed environments address these challenges by offering administrators enhanced tools to monitor, secure, and optimize their Power Platform environments. For example, the limit sharing feature allows administrators to restrict how broadly users can share Canvas apps, preventing scenarios where sensitive apps are shared across the entire organization without any oversight. This ensures that only authorized users have access to critical business applications. Another key feature is weekly usage insights, which delivers analytics directly to the administrators' mailboxes. These insights highlight top-performing apps, identify inactive resources, and spotlight the most impactful makers, helping organizations optimize resource allocation and clean up unused assets. Data policies further enhance security by defining which connectors can be used to share data, preventing accidental exposure of sensitive information to unauthorized services like social media platforms. Pipelines in Power Platform streamline the deployment process by allowing admins to automate workflows across development, testing, and production environments. Finally, the solution checker enforces best practices by analyzing solutions for problematic patterns before deployment. Importantly, any items created in a managed environment, including connections, gateways, and flows, are bound to that environment's geographical location. Together, these features make managed environments a very powerful tool for organizations looking to scale their Power Platform usage securely and efficiently. Here's a question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind right now. What's in the box? I'm glad you asked. Here is a detailed breakdown of the architectural components that make up the Dataverse and make it a powerful, scalable, and secure data platform. Here are the core components of Dataverse divided into 5 key sections: security, logic, data, storage, and integration, each represented by icons that reflect their technical roles. The security section includes features like authentication, authorization, role-based access control, auditing, and duplicate detection. This ensures that data is protected access is controlled, and compliance is maintained. The logic section includes calculated and roll-up fields, jobs, plugins, business rules, and workflows. These tools allow organizations to automate business processes and enforce logic without writing extensive code. It could be used for business rules to validate data entry or plugins to trigger custom logic using record updates. The data section focuses in on modeling, cataloging, reporting, validation, and support for the common data model, multiple languages, and multiple currencies. This ensures data is structured, discoverable, and globally usable. The storage section highlights how Dataverse uses SQL for relational data, blob storage for files and images, Cosmos DB for semi-structured or log data, and Data Lake for big data analytics. This layered storage approach ensures optimal performance and scalability. Finally, the integration section includes webhooks for real-time notifications, ALM tools like Azure DevOps for deployment, and connectors to services like GitHub and Azure Synapse. These integrations enable seamless data exchange and lifecycle management, allowing developers to build robust, scalable solutions that connect across the Microsoft ecosystem and beyond. Dataverse operates through a single API endpoint that connects to services like Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. This unified access point is supported by a load balancer that distributes requests across compute services, ensuring high availability and performance. The architecture includes specialized services such as Web for handling OData API requests, Azure Jobs for asynchronous processing, and Sandbox here for executing custom C# code securely. These components work together to provide a robust backend that supports complex business logic, automation, and reporting needs. This flexibility makes Dataverse ideal for enterprise-grade applications that require secure data access, scalable processing, and seamless integration across Microsoft's ecosystem. Dataverse, as a cloud-based data platform that supports secure, scalable, and integrated data management across the Microsoft ecosystem. Dataverse is designed to be a central data repository for business applications, enabling organizations to store and manage data in structured tables with built-in support for business logic, security, and compliance. It is globally available, but deployed geographically to meet data residency requirements, making it ideal for enterprises with regional compliance needs. Since Dataverse is cloud native, it requires an internet connection and cannot be hosted on-premise. A key benefit is its seamless integration with Microsoft Power Platform tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, and the AI Builder, allowing users to build low-code solutions without worrying about infrastructure. The Common Data Model, or CDM, is introduced as a standardized and extensible collection of schemas that define business concepts and relationships. CDM provides a shared data language that enables interoperability across applications like Power BI, Dynamics 365, and Azure. This standardization ensures that data is consistently structured and understood across systems, which is especially valuable in large organizations with diverse software ecosystems. CDM also supports extensibility, allowing businesses to customize data definitions while maintaining alignment with the broader Microsoft ecosystem. For instance, a multinational company could use CDM to align data definitions across its finance, sales, and operation departments, enabling unified reporting and analytics. Together, Dataverse and CDM provide a very powerful foundation for building scalable, secure, and interoperable business solutions. Microsoft Dataverse uses the Common Data Model, or CDM, to provide a unified, standardized data schema that simplifies integration, development, and analytics across Microsoft's ecosystem. The CDM offers a shared data language and metadata system that enables consistent interpretation of data across Power Apps, Power BI, Dynamics 365, and Azure. It includes a library of standardized, extensible schemas, such as entities like account and campaign, which represent common business concepts. These schemas help app makers and data integrators work independently. Developers can build apps using familiar data structures, while integrators can bring in data from various systems without needing to redesign schemas for each use case. On the left, we can see that the CDM schema here is showing how standardized entities and relationships are structured in the open source shared data model. The right side illustrates how Dataverse acts as a central hub, enabling multiple apps, App 1 to App N, to access and interact with multiple data sources, data source 1 to data source M, through a consistent data layer. This architecture supports structural and semantic consistency across deployments. It simplifies also the integration of Dataverse datasets and enables holistic app development and analytics. For example, a retail company can unify customer data from CRM, e-commerce, and support systems into Dataverse using the CDM, and then build apps in Power Apps and dashboards in Power BI without needing to reconcile data formats. The ability to extend CDM schemas also allows organizations to tailor the model to their specific needs, ensuring flexibility and scalability. Here is a list of the different types of tables available in Microsoft Dataverse, each serving a specific purpose in data modeling and application development. Standard tables are out-of-the-box entities like account, contact, and user, and they're designed to capture common business scenarios. These tables are ideal starting points because they align with the common database model and are already integrated into many Microsoft apps like M365, Dynamic 365, and more. For example, a sales team might use the contact table to manage customer interactions across multiple channels. Custom tables, on the other hand, allow organizations to define their own data structures tailored to unique business needs. A logistics company might create a custom shipment table to track delivery statuses for carrier details, enabling more precise operational oversight. Activity tables are specialized for tracking time-based interaction, such as email, phone calls, appointments, and more. These are particularly useful in service-oriented industries where tracking communication history is essential. For instance, a customer support team can use activity tables to log and monitor follow-up calls and service appointments. Virtual tables provide a powerful way to integrate external data sources without duplicating data in Dataverse. This is beneficial for organizations that need real-time access to external systems, such as displaying live inventory data from an ERP system within a Power App. Elastic tables are optimized for high-volume scenarios, supporting datasets with tens of millions of rows. These are ideal for analytics-heavy applications such as tracking IoT sensor data or large-scale transaction logs. Across all table types, Dataverse ensures secure, scalable, and compliant data management, making it a robust foundation for enterprise-grade apps. If possible, always use standard tables and columns. You can rename a table if that makes more sense. It makes it more understandable in your context for your solution. And always review the list of standard tables and review your needs before you create new tables. Microsoft Dataverse supports relational data modeling through one-to-many and many-to-many relationships between tables. These relationships are foundational for building structured, scalable business apps. In a one-to-many relationship, also known as a parent-child relationship, one record in the parent table, let's say invoice, can be associated with multiple records in the child table, let's say line items. But each child record links back to only one parent. This is implemented using a primary key in the parent table, like invoice number, and a foreign key in the child table. This structure allows applications to filter and display related records efficiently, such as showing all the items for a specific invoice. This model is widely used in business systems like ERP and CRM platforms, where hierarchical data relationships are very common. In contrast, many-to-many relationships allow records in both tables to be associated with multiple records in the other. For example, a contact can attend multiple events, and each event can have multiple contacts. Dataverse handles this using an intermediary or junction table, also known as a bridge table, that manages these associations. This relational flexibility enables complex scenarios such as tracking customer participation across marketing campaigns or managing student enrollments across multiple courses. The benefit of using Dataverse for relational data is that it ensures data integrity, supports efficient querying, and enables modular app development. Developers and app makers can build scalable solutions that reflect real-world relationships, while data integrators can unify data from multiple systems into a consistent relational structure. Here are 3 powerful approaches for managing logic within Microsoft Dataverse: business rules, Power Effects, and Power Automate. Each method serves a distinct purpose and offers varying levels of complexity and flexibility depending on the business scenario. Business rules are a no-code solution that allows users to define logic directly on Dataverse tables. These rules can set column values, enforce validations, and display error messages, ensuring consistent behavior across both Canvas and model-driven apps. For example, a business rule might automatically set on an order's status to completed when all the items are marked as shipped. This helps maintain data integrity and reduces the need for manual updates, especially in environments where multiple users will interact with that same data. Power Effects, on the other hand, is a low-code language that enables dynamic, real-time logic within apps. It supports live recalculations and delegation of server-side operations, making it ideal for scenarios involving large data sets or offline functionality. For instance, a retail app might use Power Effects to calculate discounts based on customer loyalty tiers, updating totals instantly as users interact with the app. Power Automate complements these tools by enabling automation across Dataverse and external systems. It supports cloud, instant, and scheduled flows, allowing users to automate repetitive tasks like sending notifications, syncing data, or triggering approvals. A common use case would be automatically emailing a customer when their support ticket is updated. Together, these methods provide a comprehensive toolkit for implementing business logic in Dataverse, balancing ease of use with powerful functionality. Microsoft Copilot simplifies data modeling in Dataverse by allowing users to describe their needs in natural language. Copilot can create and delete tables and columns, add existing tables, and build relationships, all based on user input. For example, a user might say, "I want to track bookings for a pet walking service," and Copilot will generate a booking table with fields like the pet's name, booking date, status, and notes, along with related tables for owner and pet. This functionality is especially beneficial for users with limited technical expertise, enabling them to build structured data models without writing code or navigating complex interfaces. On the right, we see how Copilot interprets user input and generates a relational data model. This includes drop-down fields for status options and linked tables for owners and pets. Use cases include small businesses setting up customer and service tracking systems, or developers rapidly prototyping applications. The benefits are clear: faster development, reduced manual errors, and broader accessibility to data modeling tools. By bridging the gap between natural language and structured data, Copilot empowers more users to participate in solution development, accelerating innovation and reducing dependency on technical resources. There are three primary methods for importing data into Microsoft Dataverse, each tailored to different levels of complexity and user needs. The Data Import Wizard is the most flexible option, supporting multiple file types, including CSV, TXT, XML, and Excel. It allows users to map columns, handle choice values, and even import multiple tables from a zip file. This makes it ideal for scenarios where data comes from diverse sources or when importing into multiple tables is required. For example, a business migrating from a legacy CRM system could use the Data Import Wizard to import customer, contact, and order data into one operation. However, it lacks advanced transformation capabilities and may not be suitable for large-scale or performance-sensitive imports. The import from Excel in a model-driven app method is similar to the wizard, but is designed for use within model-driven apps. It requires a data import template and supports importing a single file into a single table. This method is best suited for users who are already working within a model-driven app and need a quick way to populate a table using predefined templates. For instance, a sales manager could use this method to import a list of leads into the lead table using a template provided by the system. Lastly, the import data from Excel in Power Apps Maker Portal offers some basic options here, supporting only simple column mapping, and it's really kind of lacking a little bit of the support choice values and relationships that you might need. But it is ideal for very quick imports of a flat data structure, such as importing a list of maybe product SKUs into the custom table. Each method offers a balance between simplicity and functionality, allowing users to choose the best approach based on their data structure and integration needs. There are a number of methods available in Microsoft Dataverse for exporting data from model-driven apps, each tailored to different business needs and technical scenarios. The first method is export from Excel. This allows users to export up to 100,000 rows using static, dynamic, or dynamic pivot table options. This is ideal for users who need to analyze or manipulate data in Excel. This is especially needed when live updates or pivot-based reporting is required. For example, a sales manager can export dynamic data to track real-time performance across regions. The second method, Word and Excel templates, enables users to generate structured presentation-ready documents. Excel templates can be customized to include specific columns, while Word templates can pull data from a single or multiple rows. This is perfect for generating invoices, contracts, or detailed reports directly from Dataverse. The third method, Power Apps Maker Portal, provides a simple way to export all rows and columns from selected tables into CSV files that are packaged in a zip file. This is particularly useful for bulk data extraction or integration with external systems that rely on CSV formats. Lastly, Power Automate and Azure Synapse Link offer advanced export capabilities. Power Automate supports automated event-driven data exports using cloud flows, while Azure Synapse Link enables continuous data replication to Azure for large-scale analytics. These tools are essential for enterprises needing real-time data synchronization between operational systems and analytical platforms. Together, these export options provide flexibility, scalability, and efficiency, empowering users to manage and utilize their data across various Microsoft services and external environments. Now let's see how to create a solution and data model. So let's get started. We're in Lab 1, which is the one right here, and I'd want to zoom in to the URL because you can get the lab instructions, if you'd like, directly from GitHub for our PL-900 here. What we'll also notice is that we can set up the lab environment. So if you click on this, you'll get into the window right here. And this is where it will have you create the lab environment using Power Apps, microsoft.com. As you can see, they're signing in, and then you also need to set up the environment. And you have step-by-step instructions here for how to set that environment up. I'm using the Edge browser here, and there may be a few images that we might want to download for a bit later in our labs. So all of this is available in GitHub. And in particular, I'm going to go and do lab number 1 right here, create solution, which is where we're going to go in and create a solution from scratch. So that's where we're going to start. It's off at lab number 1. And I'm trying to give you a little idea of what this lab is all about right here. And I have a question to ask you. What if you could build a single powerful solution here to manage every event your organization hosts without writing a single line of code? We're going to do just that in our first demo as we do a deep dive here into our Power Platform to start it off by creating a solution that will be used to bring all of our components needed for this lab, which is based on Consoto Consulting System. And we're going to create an event management system for them. And this is so we can use it in our trade shows, quick webinars. Our calendar is packed, and we want to have everything ready and streamlined and organize all of our information. So we're going to do this via a solution, and we're going to create a solution that will support the application lifecycle management, or ALM. We're also going to add in some key tables like account and contact. And I think we're ready maybe to get started here to implement Contoso's vision. So you can click on Lab 1 here, and you can see a few more details. It's really the steps that we're going to be walking through to create our vision here. And as I mentioned, we're going to be using Power Platform, and it's going to be a solution that's going to hold all the different components for all of our labs together going forward. So this is a critical lab to start off with, and we're going to create a solution first off. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go out to Power Apps Maker portal, which I already have open right here. And when you first come into the window, you'll see a little window right here, which will ask you, and it will welcome you to Power Platform and give you some information to read that you might want to go through before you begin your lab. So we have that first. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see the URL, which is part of the steps for the first lab there. And now I do a preview version here in Power Apps that we're going to be using. So it's a little bit different than maybe what you have. I have access to the preview. So, but it's make.powerapps.com. That's a good place to start to get into Power Apps. And then I'm going to note it drops us off really in our Copilot. So we're going to use a lot of Copilot throughout our labs, as you'll see. And right here, I could have it help me with a lot of things. Maybe I need it to click to check my staff and to check out equipment, or employees need to log vacation hours. It's kind of giving you some help, some things I can do, but it's essentially AI here to help us with our app here. And so something you may want to explore, but we're going to go right now. We're going to start off by making a solution. So I'm going to click on solutions here, and there's already a number of solutions that are out there, but we're going to go do this from the beginning and click on create solution. And I'm going to give it a unique display name. And so I'm going to call it Event Management 1. And so that will be the one here for our first lab and the basis for other labs as we go forward. Notice that when I'm typing the display name in, it also puts in the name of the event, and it did it without a space. And then I'm going to go do is I could select a publisher and have a number of publishers already available. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new publisher. And you can follow along again from the lab. And the display name for this publisher is going to be Event MSLearn 1. And then the name for this is also going to have the same name, and you'll notice it's required. But I'm going to copy paste it in there just to make it a little easier. Then I'm going to choose a prefix for this. And I'm going to call this MSLearn 1. And that will create a little prefix for us to use. And it's really kind of our schema to hold our information, as we'll see a little later. And we're going to do with that is we're going to use, there's a default prefix there also. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. So it can take just a moment to save, but I'll save it right here. And that will create for us another window here where we can go in and add a solution. So it picks up the display name that I used earlier, that Event Management 1, and then the name here, it's mandatory, and you can see that there's no spaces in it, so it writes it in for us, and it picks up Publisher 2 that I had selected a little earlier. And then I'm going to go do is I'm going to click Create Now to make the solution for us. So it's going to take it a moment, and then we should hopefully see our solution created momentarily. So we'll give it just a moment. Okay, here is our solution. And notice we could add agents, apps, cards, cloud flows, data, workspaces here, tables even. And we're going to work on some tables. So we have a bunch of objects that we can make here if we'd like. And we're going to start it off first by working with a table. So I'm going to go up to the top where we see our command bar right up here. And I'm going to have it add an existing table for us. And you can see it could add the agent, AI models, apps, automation, dashboards, reports, security sites, and more. And if we click one more, you can see the different things that we can add. But we're going to add a table right here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the table, and we can add some tables. And I'm going to add the account table. So one of the tables that comes with the solutions, I'm going to kind of get us started here. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell it to include all the objects for that table. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Add. And now notice when I did that, it actually added a table. So we have a little bit of information here. And then I'm going to go do is I'm going to add another table. And so I'm going to go up here and add an existing table again. And the table that I'm going to add here is the one called Contact. Now I could circle through this list here, and I might be able to find it. Here it is right here. I could type it in and search for it also at the top. So I want to add in the contact table. I'm going to click on Next. And again, I'm going to go ahead and include all the objects, which will include the metadata. And I'm going to click on OK to pull this in. And now we have those both tables in our list. So this sets us up for really the rest of our labs that we're going to be working here in the Event Management 1 solution. Welcome to the next step in our Power Platform journey, lab number 2. In this hands-on lab, we're going to harness the power of Copilot to streamline the creation of data modeled, tailored directly for Consoto Consulting, dynamic event management, and equipment tracking needs. By simply describing the types of tables we need, Copilot is going to help us generate a foundational data structure, saving time and sparking creativity for us. We'll also then refine our model by using Designer, and then we're going to add and edit columns to ensure it aligns perfectly with Contoso's real-world scenarios. So whether it's managing trade shows, webinars, or employee equipment checkouts, this lab will equip us with the skills to build intelligent AI-assisted data models that will help drive business solutions forward. So we're going to do lab number 2, and it's right here. It's our data model. And what we're going to note is we're going to go back into the ability here, if you want to be able to create that initial lab environment, it is here at the very top in GitHub. And we're still using GitHub. We zoomed in on the URL in our last lab, and I'll zoom in on it here again so you can see where we're getting the lab instructions from. This is lab number 2, so I'm going to go back where we left off after lab 1, which was right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into tables, but not the tables here in our solution, but the tables out here. We're going to start right with this. So you can follow along with the lab steps if you like to do that. But here we are in Power Apps, and we're going to use tables right here. And then we're going to notice that we have a little option that we could click on to do other things if we needed to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on tables, and then we're going to get started with Copilot right at the top. Now notice there's other options. You can start with a blank table. You can create an Excel or a CSV file here. You can create a SharePoint table if you'd like also. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this one right here with Copilot, and we're going to add a prompt in from our lab that we want to use. And I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to paste it in. And here you can see we're going to have it create a table for managing events. And the table should identify the name of the event data, the location, the maximum number of attendees, and event details. So we're kind of giving it a table to create and then the fields that we want right here. And now before we generate it, we're going to get into some table options, and we're going to make some adjustments. And we only want it to do one table. And then we're not going to have it create any relationships just yet. And we're going to go ahead and generate this. This may take a little bit to run, so we're going to let it run in the environment for a moment. And so we'll let it crank out, do its thing. And it's setting up some tables for us behind the scenes. Okay, so it created a table called event, which is what we wanted it to do. And with event, it created an event name, which is the primary key. And it created an event date. It also has a maximum attendees field. It has the location and event details. And now if you look at the lab, it has fields that it wants us to create. And if we want to add additional fields, we can add and remove as needed. So if we needed to go in and we could make some adjustments, we can go right through there at the top right, some view options, and we have the option to go in and work with fields a little bit more hands-on. We can remove ones if we need to manually. You can also just ask Copilot to work with them, add them and remove. And it's pretty good right now. It looks good for us. Notice it says that it's AI generated. So AI generated is the name of the table, or actually the description on the table. But what we want to do is we need to add a few more things here. And we want to add a choice column. So I'm telling it the data type. So a choice column named event type, which we don't want to have available here, but we're going to add it to our table. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go ahead and paste in that. And let's execute it and see what we can get if it adds in our new field called event type to our event table. And we want to make that field a choice column so it looks as though it added it in our event type, but it also added in an additional field. And so we could remove it. Now it looks like there's another field there called event details 1. We could have it remove that, but we'll do that in just a bit. I want to make certain that we have all the fields added first, and then we'll do a little bit of housekeeping after that. And so I'm going to have it add another choice column here. And this one is named registration required. And so the choice field means that we're going to have values added to it that we can choose between. So it looks as though we got our registration required added there. And then it made another event details here. So there's like 2 event details. Now I could undo it, but it created a few more and it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to see in just a moment if we could remove some of those. And so I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to go ahead and click on existing table in our command bar here. And I'm going to search for a table named contact. Actually, before I do that, let me make some modifications to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ask it to remove the column. And I'm going to do that before we move a little further in. named event details from our events table. It should be able to figure it out. Let's see. And I actually wanted to remove the event details 1. So let's see what it does. So it left event and it created a few more in here. So let me have it undo that. So if it makes, we're going to see if we can remove it. So I typed it in wrong, but I'll fix this. So I'm going to rerun this, but I'm going to tell it event details 1. So remove only the 2 columns named event details 1 from the event table. Okay, let's try this again. If not, we can go in and make some additional changes from another spot. So probably because those event details 1 fields there, let's see if we can get it removed. Looks great. Okay, excellent. So sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of get this exactly the way you wanted. And I'm just going to kind of match that up with what we have in the lab, make certain that we have the right fields. So where we have the primary, we have maximum attendees, we have the event details. One kind of shows up something, but what we're going to do is we just want to make sure it matches with what's in the lab. Notice the event type registration is required, and we're looking really good. So this was one way we can do it. And what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and add an existing table. So there's a whole list of objects that are in our solutions. And so we're going to do this and pull in contacts. And I'm going to go ahead and click right here, and I'm going to add this in. I'm going to choose it, and I'll add it in as one of our tables. So now we have contact from Dataverse, and it's a little bit of a difference here. You can see the icon. It comes from Dataverse. This is one we created custom here, but it was AI generated. So it gives us a lot of information about it, which is helpful. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it add a new table called Event Session. So I'm going to go to Copilot here. I'm going to ask it to do that and add a new table called Event Session. And it may create 2 tables because it's going to look at the data that's currently there, and it's going to have to figure out what it might need. So there's the event session table, and it may also create an event speaker. What we only want right now is the event session table. So this looks good, but the event session table, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit to it here. So I'm going to have it add a new text column. So that's the data type. And so I'm going to add a new text column to the event session table. And I'm going to have it called session description. And so we'll add that in, and we may need a few more tables. There we go. Now we have our session description. So we have that, and we're missing a few fields from the lab. I'm going to have to pull in the session date. So I'm going to have it added. I'm going to add a column here called a date column called, it's going to say session date. So I'm going to add a date column called session date. So we'll paste that in, and I'm going to run it here together. Let's see. So I'm going to have to add in a date column here called session date. Now I'm looking at the lab, and the lab has a field called session date that it wants us to have in the session events table. So I'm going to add that. Now I'm also going to add in duration. And I'm going to copy this. It's a similar statement here. I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to have it add, let's see. Duration looks like a time column. So I'm going to have it add in a time column called duration. So we'll add that in. So it's making it match. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add another table called session registrations. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to copy this prompt directly from our lab step number 14 in particular. And let's see what it does for us here with our session registrations. Okay, so that looks like we have another table there, session registrations. That looks good. So I need an email field, a session date, and I need our special instructions field. So special instructions, I'm going to add that one. Let me pick up this right here. Actually, no, hang on. I have something down here. And I'm going to look through this, find a prompt that I can add in. I'm going to add, okay, so we need a text column named sessions registration table. So we'll add that in. I'm going to add in the special instructions field also. Let me see if I can move this a bit so we can see it. And there's the special instructions. But we're actually missing another field that we need. It's the session date. We have special instructions. We also have an email. And so I'm going to add in an email field here. Really what we're trying to do is get it to match what the lab says the fields that we want to have returned. So it should look like this a little bit. And so I'm going to add the email column to the session registration table. And then we're going to have it called email, and we'll click to run that. Okay, so it looks like it added it in. Let me move some of these over so we can see them a little better. Okay, so email is supposed to be the primary key. So what I'm going to have it do is I'm going to have it remove. I have a prompt here I want to use. Let me copy it. Let me pull this in here. So let's see what happens with this. So remove the primary column. And let's see what it's going to do here. Give it a moment. Okay, so it thinks there's no primary, but let's see what happens. I'm going to have it place the primary actually on another field. So make the email column in the session registration table the primary. And let's see what it does. See if we can get that switched out from the registrant name to the email as the primary. Okay. So it's, okay, not a type text column. Okay. So it's telling us why it cannot do it. So what we'll do, let's see, I can go into this. They're under view options to view data. It's another way to work with it. So here you can see the email field. You can see the registration there. You can get these, and let's see the registration column here. It will not make it. Let's see. So it doesn't look like I can see the primary part of this here, but I can find out a little bit more about the data types. The format I can have to work with here is I could also go over here in the email field, and let me see if I can edit it. So you have some options here. So I don't want to make it required, but I think it actually would be good if it was. Let me update that. And then here, let's go into its properties. And I can get a little bit more information here. As you can see, I'm going to go change it out as the primary. So you need to do a little bit of work to make some of this happen here. And there we go. It looks pretty good. It's now the primary. Okay, then I'm going to save it. So if we need it, I got it right here, the view options. I can get in and make changes as needed. I'm going to save and exit there. And so we have a number of fields there. And again, I'm just looking at my lab. and I'm making certain that I have all the fields necessary to create those relationships. And let's move into making relationships. So now we can see that what we want to do. We can see our 4 tables have been created, and now we want to get a little bit more to the point here. We're going to set up some relationships. So I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to click on Create Relationships, and I can configure all kinds of relationships, as you can see from this drop down here. But what I'm going to do first in our example is my one relationship is going to be contact, and the many side is going to be the event session. And I'm going to change the name right here for the display. So contact is the one side, event session is the many side, and we're going to put in a display name here. I could also click on advanced options and get some more options in there, but we're going to use this to make our relationship here, and then the schema is going to be speaker there. And you can see I'm going to go ahead and click done. There's our first relationship, and you can see it graphically here. It's been set up between contact and event session. I'm going to set up another relationship, going up to the top again, and it's going to be one-to-many, and I'm going to do it between contact and this time with session registration. And I'm going to choose the option down here to change the display name to participant. And again, I can go into my advanced options and see the schema name that it's picked up and make changes as needed. So now I have that. So between contact and recipient and session registration, there's a relationship of one-to-many. So now contact has that relationship. You can see it there with event sessions and session registration. But we're not done making relationships. We're going to make a few more. So I'm going to go back into Create Relationships, and I'm going to choose the one-to-many relationship again. This time I'm going to choose the event side for the one side, and for the many side, we're going to choose event session. And again, I'm going to go into our display and call it event, and then check out the schema there also. And then I'm going to click on, it looks good here, I'm going to click on done here. So one-to-many between event and event session. And you can see the relationships right there. I'm going to move these around a little bit. You can see the relationships that are there. You can see the lines, the one side to the many side. And then we're going to make one more relationship here. And this time we're going to create a relationship, a one-to-many relationship between event session on the one side and session registration on the many side. And then our display name, we're going to go with what we have there. And then our advanced options. You can see the name of the schema, the name of the relationship. We're just going to click done to that there too. Okay, now we're seeing a bunch of relationships here, and an easy way to make them as you move these around so we can see how the relationships are set up here. It's kind of organized a little bit differently here from the lab, the way it's laid out, but we have the relationships in place that we need. But you can see the relationships right there. It looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and save this and exit out. And so I'm going to save and exit, and we have our 4 tables created, and our 4 tables have relationships with one another. So we've added in event session, registration, event session, and contact. We pulled in from our Dataverse a list of tables. Okay, so it looks pretty good now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and make changes to some of our tables here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to find the event in the list here. I'm going to click on the event here, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take some look at some of the columns. So in event under schema, I'm going to go into columns here and get a little closer look at it. And we have the fields that you can see here for in the event type, and I'm going to take a closer look. And now what we did is we're going to set up for choice. So we want to kind of set up some choices that we can choose from with the event type. And as I scroll down, you can see that I could put in right here, different choices would go right there. So if I wanted to edit this, all I would need to do is click and then start typing inside the box. And that would let me add changes to this if I wanted to do that. But what we want to show: conference, trade show, webinar, lunch, and lunch and learn and launch. So when people are actually using the field, this is the list that they can choose from for that field. So it's easy enough to do right here. And so we have the list to pick from there, and the event types that we use the most here for conferences. And when people would want to change it, again, they'll be able to go in and do that right here. Okay, so we can see that there. And I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to go look for our next table that we're going to take a look at. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add a new column to our events sessions table. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to look for the event sessions in our list. I'm going to pick event sessions right here. And note that I could come in and I could make changes to this if I wanted to. So I have it here under schema. I can go back and look for columns. And what I can do is I can add new columns right from this button right here. So I want to add a number of fields. And you can see all the fields are here now. And I'm going to come up to the top and I'm going to click on new column. And I want to add a field called total registrations, which I think is already right here. But what we're going to do is I'll go in and I'll create a new column and I can type in the name of it here. So it's total registrations. And I think I already have had this one added earlier. So I'm going to call this total registrations 1. And then the data type on it, it's going to be a whole number. And then the behavior on it, I'm going to make it a roll-up field. It's a simple calculated roll-up there. And I'm going to choose roll-up here, and then I'm just going to verify it's selected and everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. And then when I save it, there's going to be a little pop-up, and that will take a moment to open up, and it'll look a little bit like this. And if it doesn't open up, you have to unblock your pop-ups. And then what I'm going to do is under related entity, I'm going to click on add right here, and I'm going to choose I'm going to add this. I'm going to choose this from the list, my session registrations. And there it is. I'll choose that. And then I want to save it. And that's saved the changes right there. And then I'm going to I'm going to add in the aggregation. I'm going to click the plus over here. And the aggregation I want to use is count. And so I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to count. And then I'm going to have it do session registrations for us. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to click this check mark right there to save it. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to save this. I'm going to close it. So you can choose if when you're done with this, you can save it and close out of it. Okay. So that's going to take a moment to process, and then we'll go in and do some more things here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another table. And I'm going to go to tables here. And I'm going to use Copilot again. And what I'm going to have it do is go ahead and create a table right here. So this last little bit here, let me copy this prompt. And it's going to have us create a table for checking out equipment. And the table should include the equipment name, the due date, its item number, and it's going to make sure that it only generates one table. And again, I can tell it the table relationships if I want to include here. I'm going to have it just do one table right here, and then I'm going to hit our generate button and give it a moment to create that special table for us. Let's see. It's a table for checking out equipment. So let's see what happens here. And there it is. The equipment checkout looks pretty good. And what I want to do is I can rename the table if I want. Let me try that process. We'll rename it to, call it equipment. So we'll put that in there and give it a moment to process. And then we may add a few more fields to this, like we'd seen a little bit earlier. If we wanted to be able to do that, we can add fields. So let's see that. So it says it has been renamed and it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to undo it. And then I'm going to say rename the table to equipment. And I'll see if it can get that to work for us. And then we'll add in a couple of fields. We're going to add in a choice column named equipment type. Okay, so we'll come back to that and we'll let me pick that up in a little bit. We could rename it another way, as you know. But we'll add in a choice column named equipment type to this table. So we'll give it a moment. And then we're going to add in a couple more fields here. So equipment type, and we can see it right there. It looks good. And then what we could add in is another field here, and we're going to make it a text column. So we're going to call it category. So let me add that in too. And let's see if I can get it to just, add that again here. Let's see if that happens. I'm going to make another field. So sometimes it may give you a little bit of an issue. Your lab does say what to do in the event that that occurs, and you can see it up at the top of the lab. Let me scroll up there because it's not letting some of this happen. And this could happen too when you're doing the lab. But if you scroll up to the top, it tells us what it needs if we get the needs attention option. And we just have to go into view data and maybe do some changes in there. So that might be helpful also. But it's listed in your lab. But I'm going to give it another shot here. I'm going to skip that field for right now. And I'm going to see if I can get it to add a field called status. So I'm just going to continue to see if we can get some of this added. And we'll go back to that, making that category field in a moment here too. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, it looks like status. Looks good. Let me have it do a category. We'll give that a shot. And so it's added status. And we had it as a text column. Here's another text column called category. And then we're going to match these up with the lab. So, okay. But I have to go in. I'm going to try to add category again. I want it to add category, item number, due date. It has checked out by. It also has the returned. That's a good option. So what it wants me to do here is I'm going to remove any columns that should not be added. So we definitely want equipment name, we want item number, we want due date, we want status and equipment type, but we don't want checked out by or is returned. So let me remove those, and then I'm going to try adding category again in a moment. And this part, we'll put the syntax, the part is from the lab. The prompt we're putting here is from really the lab. So I'm going to have it remove the field called checked out by. Let's have it remove that. So we'll give it another moment here to run that for us. Okay, so that's gone. I also want it to remove one field, and it's our field called returned, although I do think that it's an awesome field. It's just not what we want right now for this table. So let me see if I can remove that returned field or remove that one. And I'll try to add category back in. Everything looks pretty good, matches up with the lab. And what I'm thinking is, we want to, so that's removed. Okay, so we've got that one removed. Now I'm going to ask it to please add in the text column named category. So I'm going to type it in this same time, and let's see if I can have it add that column in for us, and it should. So let's see what happens, and I wonder if there's another reason that it's having such an issue with that. So I may have to go in and actually add it in. I'm going to try it one more time. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go into View Data. And right here, I'm going to add in a new column. Another way to do it, so you can manually add these if you'd like. You must first, figure out what's missing, and you can add it in. Let me go ahead and add it in right now. And it's going to be, let's see, we want the field. We want it to be a single line of text. And so just a text field and not required. And then there's, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And there you go. There's our category field. Okay, so we have that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can rename this field. I think it's supposed to be called equipment. And I'm going to go try to do that and just call it equipment there. Equipment 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a few more changes here and save it. Okay, so that looks good. Now, what we want to do is they want us to go in and replace some of the labels that are here on the field. So let's see if we can edit this field right here. And we may or may not be able to do this. So no, we don't have the options to do that right here. So we're going to go into properties on that table. And yeah, it's just for that table. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back and see a few more options that we might have right here. So I'm going to go find that equipment table. I can search for it right here. And now there's a couple of spots, as you may notice, that we can search from. Up here, it's everything, and right here, it should be for our tables. Let me hit enter, and let's see if we can find it. Actually, it was equipment. So let's see what it does for us. It looks like it's searching. It might go find it. It may take it a little bit to happen here. There it goes. Let me see if I can find it. There it is, easy enough. I'm going to click on it. There it is. There's the one we made. So I'm going to go into it. I'm going to go into schema columns here. And from here, what we can do is we're going to go find that equipment type field there. And then we're going to go into it and we're going to see if we can put some labels in. And so you can see we have electronics, furniture, we want accessories, but we also want to leave tools. So remember how we do this. We can go in and we can click and just start typing. I'm going to call this tools. And then the rest of these I'm just going to delete. And you can see how I'm doing it right there. Deleting those extra label fields that we don't need for our choice field here. Then we're going to add in, let's see, we could also add in new choices if we need to. So a new line if we need that. But at this point, it looks like we're good to go here. I'm going to save this. It'll take us just a moment to save it. And thank you for your patience through this. You have your work here easy to do. You can do edits. I hope you enjoyed this section also. And I hope to see you in our next section. And we'll continue on with Lab 3 coming up. Thank you so much. In this section, we will describe Microsoft Power Platform Administration and Governance. Let's now explore security in Power Platform and talk about the Application Lifecycle Management, or ALM. The Customer Relationship Management Security Model serves a multifaceted role that extends far beyond simply granting access to records. At its core, it defines what actions users can perform on records, such as read, write, delete, or share. And this is based on their identity and the ownership of the record. This ensures that sensitive data is only accessible to authorized individuals supporting compliance and data integrity. For example, A sales representative may have access to their own leads, while a manager can view and edit records across their team. This granular control is essential in regulated industries like healthcare or finance, where data access must be tightly governed. Beyond record level access, the security model also governs the user interface and application features. It allows administrators to assign access to specific user interface elements such as forms, dashboards, and business process workflows based on the security role that we'd like to grant. This means only users with the appropriate role can interact with certain parts of the application, reducing clutter and enhancing usability. Additionally, it controls access to features like exporting data to Excel, printing, or using the mobile app. This not only protects data from unauthorized distribution, but also streamlines the user experience by hiding entities and features that users lack privileges for. For instance, a field technician using a mobile app may only see the work orders related to their role, while administrative features remain hidden. This approach enhances security, improves performance, and ensures users remain focused on their tasks. Security roles explained give us a concise overview of how security roles function within the systems like Microsoft Dynamics 365 or Power Platform environments. Security roles define the permissions a user or a team has. These permissions are structured through privileges, specific actions like read, write, delete, and access levels like the scope of access that a user, a business unit, or an organization may be granted. This model ensures granular control over data and functionality. Additionally, it mandates that every user must be assigned to at least one security role, which is essential for system access and enforcing role-based access control, or RBAC. This ensures that users only interact with data and features relevant to their responsibilities, enhancing both security and compliance. There are 3 flexible options for assigning security roles. First, administrators can modify default roles before assigning them, tailoring them to the organizational needs while preserving core structures. Second, they can create copies of a default role and use that as a template, which is useful for standardizing roles across departments or teams. Third, they can create entirely new security roles, typically for users with minimal privileges or highly specialized access needs. These options support scalable and maintainable security configurations. Use cases include onboarding new employees with predefined roles, segmenting access for contractors, and enforcing least privilege principles. These benefits include improved security posture, simplified role management, and alignment with governance policies. Data loss prevention, or DLP, policies in Microsoft Power Platform serve as a critical safeguard that controls how data flows between connectors, ensuring that sensitive information is not accidentally or maliciously exposed. These policies distinguish between business connectors, such as Microsoft Dataverse, SharePoint, and SQL Server, which are trusted and approved for handling sensitive data, and business data and non-business data connectors. And things like getting connected to using a non-business connector like X, formerly Twitter, or Gmail, which is typically a third-party service, which wouldn't be suitable for sensitive data. By enforcing DLP policies, organizations can prevent scenarios where confidential customer data might be inadvertently shared through unsecured channels. For example, a DLP policy can block a Power Automate flow from sending Dataverse data to a Gmail account, thereby maintaining compliance with internal data governance standards. Administrators can apply DLP policies at 2 levels to align with organizational needs. Environmental level policies allow for tailored controls in specific environments such as development, testing, or production. This is particularly useful in scenarios where developers need flexibility in sandbox environments, but stricter controls are required in production. Tenant-level policies, on the other hand, provide consistent protection across the entire organization, ensuring that all environments adhere to a baseline of data security. This layered approach enables organizations to balance agility, and the benefits included here help us to reduce the risk of data breaches, improve compliance with regulatory requirements, and enhance trust in the platform's ability to protect sensitive information. Microsoft's commitment to data security, privacy, and compliance is foundational in its cloud services, including Power Platform. The Microsoft Trust Center acts as a central hub for transparency, offering detailed resources on how Microsoft embeds security, privacy, and compliance, along with transparency, into its products. Organizations can explore best practices, compliance documentation, and tools like data protection impact assessments and data subject requests to support regulatory obligations such as General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR. The Service Trust Portal complements this by providing service-specific compliance details. Microsoft GDPR support includes readiness checks and action plans, helping organizations meet their obligations while leveraging Microsoft services. This is especially critical for industries like healthcare, finance, government, and more, where regulatory compliance is non-negotiable. From a technical standpoint, Microsoft ensures data protection through robust encryption protocols. All data in transit between user devices and Microsoft data centers is secured using Transport Layer Security, or TLS, 1.2 or higher, ensuring confidentiality and integrity of data exchanges. API access is similarly protected, safeguarding integrations and automation workflows. Additionally, Microsoft's data location management allows organizations to define the geographical location of their data by setting a default geo at the tenant level and targeting specific geos for environments within Power Platform. This ensures data residency compliance and supports operational continuity by replicating data within the same region without moving it outside the designated geo. These capabilities are particularly beneficial for multinational organizations managing data sovereignty across jurisdictions. Understanding Application Lifecycle Management, or ALM, is a structured process for managing applications within the Microsoft Power Platform in 5 key stages: planning, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. ALM begins with planning, where business requirements, goals, and scope are defined through stakeholder collaboration. This ensures that the application aligns with strategic objectives. In the development phase, tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dataverse are used to build and refine application components. This stage benefits from collaborative development practices, version control, and modular design with enhanced scalability and maintainability. The testing phase validates the application in the controlled environment, ensuring it meets functional and non-functional requirements. This reduces the risks of defects reaching production. Deployment involves moving the application to a production environment using solutions that package all components, ensuring consistency and reducing deployment errors. Finally, maintenance ensures the application remains relevant by addressing bugs, incorporating user feedback, and adapting to evolving business needs. Use cases include deploying a customer service app across departments or maintaining a field service solution with regular updates. The benefits of ALM in Power Platform include improved governance, streamlined collaboration, reduced time to market, along with high-quality solutions that evolve with the business. In Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics 365, solutions serve as a structured container that manages and tracks customizations with a common data service or CDS environment, now known as Microsoft Dataverse. Each environment, whether for development, testing, or production, maintains its own set of solutions, enabling isolated and controlled deployment of components. These solutions can include a wide range of assets such as entity metadata, forms, views, business rules, workflows, and even developer-created components like JavaScript, plugins, or compiled code. This modular approach supports application lifecycle management, ALM, by allowing teams to build, test, and deploy changes in a consistent and repeatable manner. For example, a development team can build a custom sales dashboard in a dev environment, package it into a solution, and then deploy that into production without affecting other apps or environments. Solutions are also the foundation for deploying Microsoft's own applications like Dynamics 365 Sales or Customer Service, as well as third-party offerings from independent software vendors. These ISVs, or independent software vendors, use the same solution framework to deliver their products, ensuring compatibility and ease of integration. This standardization enhances governance and maintainability across environments. From a compliance and security perspective, the Microsoft Trust Center provides essential resources to help organizations understand how these solutions are built and managed securely. It offers transparency into Microsoft's development practices, including how solutions align with data protection standards and regulatory requirements. This is especially valuable for organizations in regulated industries that need to ensure their customization and third-party integrations meet internal and external compliance standards. This Power Platform-based solution manages the end-to-end process of ordering and procuring devices. It is organized into three main sections: app, data, which has the tables, and other components, each playing a critical role in the solution's functionality. The apps section includes two applications, device ordering and device procurement, which serve distinct purposes. The device ordering app is likely used by employees to request devices, while the device procurement app is used by the procurement staff to manage and fulfill those requests. Supporting these apps are three security roles, one for each app and an additional role for the procurement workflow. These roles ensure that users only access the components relevant to their responsibilities, enforcing role-based access control and maintaining data security. At the core of the solution is the device order table, which acts as a central data repository for all device requests. This table is shared across both apps, enabling seamless data flow and consistency. The other components section includes the order approval flow, which likely automates the approval process for device request, and the device procurement agent, which may be a Power Automate desktop and cloud flow agent responsible for executing back-end tasks such as updating inventory or notifying vendors. This modular design supports scalability and maintainability. For example, the approval flow can be updated independently of the apps, and the agent can be reused across other procurement processes. The benefits of this architecture include improved operational efficiency, reduced manual errors, and enhanced governance through clearly defined roles and automated workflows. This solution exemplifies how Power Platform components can be orchestrated to deliver a secure, scalable, and user-friendly business application. In Microsoft Power Platform and Dataverse, The prescribed method for deploying customizations is through managed solutions. Managed solutions are sealed packages intended for deployment in test and production environments, ensuring the components are versioned, locked from direct editing, and governed through a controlled release process. This approach supports application lifecycle management by enabling consistent, repeatable deployments and reducing the risk of unintended changes. For example, a financial services organization can deploy a managed solution containing regulatory workflows to production, ensuring compliance and traceability. Managed solutions also simplify rollback and upgrade scenarios, making them ideal for enterprise-scale deployments and ISV distributed apps. Conversely, unmanaged solutions are intended for development environments only. They allow full editing of components, but should never be used as a source of truth. Instead, organizations should maintain unmanaged solutions in source control systems like Azure DevOps or GitHub. This ensures that all changes are tracked, versioned, and recoverable. This is critical for being able to audit and for team collaboration. Relying on a development environment as a source of truth introduces a risk, as changes can be lost or overwritten. In this session 2, we explored the essential building blocks of our Power Platform. We began by unpacking the importance of security and governance, ensuring that solutions are not only powerful, but also compliant and well managed. We then examined environments, understanding how they help organize and isolate apps and data across different stages of development. Next, we navigated through the various administrative experiences available in Power Platform, giving you a clear view of how to manage and monitor your solutions effectively. We also introduced the Application Lifecycle Management, or ALM, highlighting how it supports structured, scalable, and collaborative app development. Finally, we explored Microsoft Dataverse, the secure and scalable data platform that powers business solutions across the Power Platform. With this foundation in place, we are better prepared to take our next steps in our journey. See you back soon for session 3.